to support you. And they're very, to be honest, they're very different and very similar.
Can you repeat that? He just dropped the phone. In shock.
Nick, you work in IT?
They're very similar and very different in a lot of ways. It's made my life a lot more entertaining just watching them evolve. I have to say thank you for putting up with me all these years. And I've got a very small gift for you guys.
Transition is terrible.
Good luck, David. Good luck, buddy. Don't ruin into it. Don't ruin into it.
I'm glad they gave me a kiss and a hug now. I still have something to say. I was concerned when I chose these two to be my best men, and I think a lot of you shared that concern.
Yeah, a little bit.
To be fair, they're not the greatest. But they pulled off a great stag. And I think everyone that was on the stag enjoyed it immensely. And I thank you for all of the people that were on the stag. I have to say though, I peaked a little bit on the first night, which meant that Bodie and Dad had to carry me home at 9:30 in the evening. No, it's 9:30. But what they didn't take it easy on me was my costume outfits, and they followed a very colourful theme, which was a pink theme, and they basically tried to make me look as ridiculous as possible in ladies' outfits. Now, I remember flying back from that stag thinking, when am I ever going to be able to return the favour? I could be a very old man before these two settled down. As part of your best men duties, I've got 2 outfits for you. But these 2 outfits, I've been assured that these 2 outfits don't look now, right? Sorry, now, what we have here is 2 lovely pink saris.
Chucky's really good at that.
Put them on! Put them on! Put them on!
But before I get into their sorry, get ready for their Bollywood dance song, I think I've got a speech to do. So, I'm going to hand over.
Gavin, I don't say water's going to cut.
Can we get some of Tubi?
Off you go.
No,
Well, guys, I just want to thank Dylan for his kind words and excellent speech. Well done. Just one request though, if you wouldn't mind. Bearing in mind we're right next to the bridal suite. If you're gonna get active, you make it after 6, so it's not like we've got the safe distance. We now come on to the main event. In inverted commas, best men. And just a little comparison. I don't know how many of you remember the 1980s drama, The Professionals. Bodie and Doyle. So I'm going to hand over to The Professionals.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
For those of you that don't know us,
Who are you?
this is Bodie, and this is Davide. And we've been given the awkward task of being Dylan's best men. If there's anybody here who's feeling worried, nervous, or even apprehensive, you're either one of us two, or you just married Dylan Sebastian.
I'm proud to say that you can all sit down, relax, and watch us make fun of ourselves, but more importantly, Dylan for the next few minutes.
Before I came here today, one of my good friends gave me some advice on doing this speech. He said, think of it like walking through a nudist camp. It's only hard for the first minute. Where can you even begin?
Was that you?
Where can you even begin to discuss a man that has come from such humble beginnings? A man who, like a shooting star, is rising quickly to the very top of his profession. How do you mention how he's achieved this purely through his own intelligence, grit, and the ability to go the extra mile and push through where others have fallen? What can you say about a man who distinguishes himself at the very highest level amongst his peers, of whom no one can utter a bad word? But enough about Bodie.
Such kind words from Dylan.
That hard.
Such kind words from Dylan. In all seriousness, we're truly honoured. JD, Ish, John Pedro, Frank, Mitz, Alex all refused to be his best man. Sorry, we're here.
Because of this, me and Bodie promise that the information provided over the next few minutes is 100% accurate and exaggerated. Remember, Dil, I've got a fantastic memory.
So, Davide, Dylan is the first one out of the three of us to get married. He was also the first one. He was also the first one to pass his driving test and the first one to get a car. He was also the first one out of the three of us to lose his hair. Which is a good thing, you can see his haircut. But there was there any other first stuff?
Yeah, maybe one second, ladies and gentlemen.
Dylan was the first and only one of us to spend a night in a police cell.
What was that for?
After we were wrongly thrown out of a nightclub on Dad's 25th birthday.
Wrongly?
We're also
Dilhan decided it was a good idea to tell a policeman that he might have had some sort of relationship with his mother. As you can imagine, it didn't go down too well, but like good friends, myself, John Pedro, and Davide slept on the floor of the police station and waited for him to be released. I know without a doubt it did the same for us.
Right. Can I just say how amazing Emily and her bridesmaiden look tonight? Matron?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, as for Dilhan, well, what can I say? Emily tried her best. To be fair, nobody ever seems to pay the groom compliments. But I think you'll all agree Dilhan's looking pretty dashing tonight in his tailor-made suit. But what will come to a surprise to many of you, Dilhan has not always been renowned for his spectacular dress sense.
So when I first met Dilhan, he was wearing his dad's coat, which was from C&A. It was this massive, green thing. It had about 100 zips on it. We tried to bring it today, but we think we'll have to quarantine the venue after.
But to be fair to Dil, he wasn't given the best of chances from an early age. And visiting Dil's house for the very first time as a teenager was a warning of things to come. As I knocked on the house door, slightly apprehensive and nervous, as any teenager would be, I was greeted by Manny. He was topless, wearing nothing but his sarong and what appeared to be Gandhi's flip-flops. At first, I wasn't sure if this was indeed Dil's house, if I stumbled across the world's worst swingers party. I soon understood that this was obviously Manny's normal house attire, as you can see from the picture. Manny's legendary dress sense took on a whole new level when I saw him strolling out of Ladbrokes in Cocktails. Honestly, he was wearing flip-flops, electric blue jeans, and an XXL Chicago Bears helmet. He lived a cross between a notorious B.I.G. and Mahatma Gandhi. Unfortunately for me, this unique dress sense was passed on to his son. Just like an unwanted infection. Going out with Dil as young was uncomfortable. We didn't know what he would turn up like. And one fateful trip to New York, Dil purchased what could have been the worst pair of shoes I swear to God. Right? They were a cross between canoe and bowling shoes. They were that bad that the salesman looked embarrassed. It was pleading with him to look at other styles. He even took him to the women's collection. He had to have them shoes. To a horror, Dil wore them out that night. He looked like he was on the way to Hollywood Bowls. Needless to say, he's received mine and Bodie's opinions for the past 14 years, and I'm sure for the next 14 years to come.
Now, although he's inherited Manny's dress sense, he's also inherited Manny's humour, generosity, and for that we can be grateful.
Yeah. Right. Me and Bodie have known this man for a long time. Too long. Right? I met Bodie. I met Dilhan some 24 years ago. It was the first year at St Ignatius, and little did I know that was the day my fate was sealed as the second least popular boy in secondary school. For me, I only had to part with him for 5 years before Bodie helped me with the burden. So
I first met Dilhan outside News and Choose newsagents in Enfield Town. I was waiting for the 307 bus. At the time, he was having an argument with a sixth form bully, Sean Quinn. Now, Sean was a Sean was a rather unfortunate chap. He weighed about 20 stone, had bright ginger hair, and no front teeth. and these were facts that Dilhan reminded him of on a daily basis for like 4 or 5 years. I remember when Dilhan passed his driving test and Manny rewarded him with a Ford Sierra. I think he won it in the bookies. That was it. Our days of taking the bus were over. Dilhan took great joy in driving past his nemesis Sean Quinn at the bus stop as we sped past playing the latest House and Garage tunes. But Dilhan, being the great guy that he was, will often give Sean a lift home, only to complain to him all the way for damaging his suspension. I'm sure you want to pay for those repairs when your clutch went as well.
Did you really that big?
Nevertheless, you can see why he's such a well-liked guy tonight. So as Davide had already alluded to, Dilhan wasn't exactly the most charismatic and all-popular person at school. In fact, if he wasn't for friends with me and Dav, I'm not sure many people would even know he was there. He might, however, be remembered for his rather unique nickname, something that I know he's managed to keep a secret for about 15 years.
Well, did you?
Can anyone guess?
I don't.
Yeah?
No.
It refers to his the largest part of his anatomy. No, not that bit. At school, Dilhan was known as the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger. On account of his rather large. To be fair to Dilhan, he's a great listener. He's been there to listen to all our problems over the last few years, and it's massively alone, so responsible for that. This is school question.
Anyone that knew Dilhan before moving to uni and meeting Emily would be familiar with his distinct lack of game when it came to the ladies. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Really?
It was only mine and Bodie's expertise, and many others. Without wetting his pants. Now, Dil eventually gained confidence, too much in fact.
So I recall one evening in a bar, Dilhan spotted 2 ladies alone and decided he was going to go over and try and chat them up. The conversation started pretty well, and then they decided to ask Dilhan what he did for a living. So instead of telling the Do you want to give the speech or? So instead of telling the truth, Dilhan decided to tell them that he was an obstetrician and just been delivering babies that evening. They both seemed
We were
They both seemed pretty impressed with Dilhan, and he thought he was onto a winner. Until one of them asked him what hospital he actually worked at. And the first place in Dilhan's mind was Great Ormond Street Hospital. That's right. Dilhan babies in a children's hospital. Both ladies looked at each other rather puzzled before telling them that they were in fact nurses. And they couldn't understand why he was delivering babies in a children's hospital. Nevertheless, Dilhan's child managed to convince them that despite latterly not being an obstetrician, he was actually an alright guy. So I think we can agree that with Emily, Dilhan's done very well for himself. Very well indeed. But up until this point, Dilhan's taste in women over the years has been rather unusual. Unlike most men, he hasn't been interested in looks or personality, no. The most attractive feature to Dilhan has been what country they lived in. Or whether or not he can rack up some air miles going to see them. So there's been Germany, Ireland, and Leeds. That's right, Leeds. And funnily enough, it was a commute to Leeds that Dilhan found the most painful. One bank holiday weekend, Dilhan decided he was going to come up and see me and spend one day with me and then go up to Leeds afterwards. So we went out that night, and Dilhan Then we like to go out, playing hard a little bit too much. The next morning, he didn't feel he was in any position to go to Leeds that day or wherever. So rather than calling or texting, Dilhan devised this rather elaborate plan.
Oh my God! He's with you right now.
He came up with this rather elaborate plan. He drove to the motorway and waited for the noise of the M6 to build to its peak before making a phone call. I've had a puncture. I can't come up to see you. Today or ever. The phone call was short, as was the relationship. I don't think they ever spoke again. But don't worry, Emily, I've signed him up to the AA, RAC. And I put a foldable bike in his boot. So I can see Dilhan squirming in his chair right now and a large bead of sweat rolling down his forehead. So I think we'll move on. But mainly because Trevor's a lot bigger than you. He's ex-military.
Other than this epic best man speech, the other highlight of this evening will undoubtedly be watching the dance floor light up as Dilhan puts his notorious dance move into action. And this is one thing, apart from his choice of horrible shoes, that we've not been able to help him with over the years. We've often debated whether Dilhan was simply wearing invisible headphones or had mental health issues. It was beyond all imagination that he was dancing to the same music as the other 250 people and the illness dance floor. Over the years, we've grown to appreciate and even love his individual dancing style. But the record has not evolved, but you can change it for the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled as the evening progresses, and you may be lucky enough to witness Dil's famous dance move called the Chicken Tonight, which is borrowed from the 90s TV advert for fantastically creamy chicken marinade sauce.
Like myself and Dad, Dilhan's very proud of his origins, but you wouldn't have known that if you had been on the Signals night out with him.
No, not at all. After being complimented on his apparent likeness to Hollywood action hero Vin Diesel and ex-footballer Stan Collymore and Trevor Sinclair, Dilhan decided that he was no longer Sri Lankan. No, he was in fact mixed race. Clearly believing this would give him the edge when it came to the ladies. Which of course it didn't. Sadly for Dil, girls couldn't look past his personality. Joking aside, Dil has now embraced his Sri Lankan roots and has even asked for a moment to thank all his Sri Lankan family and friends in his native tongue. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give you Dilhan and Sebastian.
Say something.
That's good enough, man. That's it.
So, as many of you know, several of us went over to Prague for Dil's stag. So a quick shout out to the boys: John, Frank, Alex, Ish, Mitch, and Cheryl.
Mitch.
Where's Mitch come from?
And of course,
Where's Mitch come from?
Manny. Unfortunately, Dilhan's given me strict instructions not to disclose any information about what happened in the strip club.
If you want to see videos, come see me.
Talking about the stag party, I don't know if any of you know this, but leaving the hotel, the receptionist actually gave me an envelope addressed to room 36, where the Sebastians were staying. Now, it's quite a small envelope, so not many of you would have noticed me carrying it, but I've actually brought it with me tonight, so let me just get it out. Right.
Small envelope.
For someone special.
Small envelope, right?
I weren't going to read this, but I might as well read it out tonight, so you know all you people here, so let's see what it says. Dear Dr. Sebastian,
I love you now so much.
It's such a shame that you only got to see us on Thursday, Friday and Saturday during your stay. You must come and visit us again sometime. We will never forget you, and who knows, you may be delivering our babies one day. P.S. P.S. Did you leave your watch? Lots of love, Electra, Chantel, Christelle and Monique from Darlings.
Thanks for that, brother. So on that note, I think we can't go on without mentioning again how wonderfully beautiful Emily looks. She looks outstanding. He stole my line.
Emily, you're a wonderful woman who deserves a wonderful husband. And I'm not going to rest until I've found out what's going on. All joking aside, Emily, we think you're 1 in a million. Everyone will agree that you look absolutely amazing tonight. Woo!
Yeah! Woo!
And the moment we met you, we knew you were the one for Dil.
Yeah.
You've made him so happy, and for that we thank you.
Thank you.
In you, Dil has met a beautiful woman, inside and out, the perfect partner, a friend, a best friend, and a great cook. You're like a sister to me, a bossy one at that. Thank you for looking after me at the flat, for all the amazing meals, and for all the amazing meals to come. Look after him, we know you will. Love you lots.
Where's the glass?
Emily!